Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a best of 3 between Percival and SOS, Mr. Moneybags himself, playing under a barcode for whatever reason, hiding even in tournaments what his real identity is. As, ooh, what the hell is Percival doing? Is this? An SCV scout in the early game is not very common. As in, it never happens, especially with double gas openers. Double gas openers should be some of the safest openers in the entire world. You don't need the scout for proxy gates, but he still does it, probably because he's afraid of whatever the hell SOS is doing. SOS, however, is opening up with something very, very standard. He's going to be starting with a core before Nexus, standard adept, probably chrono boosting it. I wanted to probably move it across the map, or at least use it defensively. On the other side of things, we have Percival opening up with the fast tech lab and the factory. This is one of the more common builds in the current metagame. I think it's been popularized by Maru, who was getting pretty tired of being scouted all the time by the sentries with the hallucination, and said, you know what I can do? I can rush out a very quick cyclone and then deny the scout. And so far, it's been working relatively well for him. So we're gonna see that cyclone out here right now, followed up most likely by a starport straight away. Like, what is that? 240? Oh, that's a beautiful timing there for a starport. Love to see it. Ooh, Stargate coming out of SOS as well. This is very rare to see. The Stargate has, I don't want to say has left the building, but we just don't see it being used a whole lot anymore these days. Cyclone being very strong. A lot of Viking tank pushes make it difficult to play it as well, as this Reaper's gonna fall without getting any major scouting information. Did not see the Stargate here. Oracle's going to be the first unit of choice. So I think this is the most common thing if we do see Stargate. Phoenixes just aren't so popular, and some Oracle builds are still decent. You got some Oracle into Blink. I've seen some Oracle into Robo as well. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is, let's call it playable at least. It is somewhat playable. Raven coming out here for Percival. This is an insanely fast Raven rush, by the way. Single Cyclone into an instant Raven. This Cyclone is going to clear Adept number 1. Ooh, it's gonna follow this up with a Voidray. What the hell is this crap? This is not a standard way of playing at all. I wonder if this is a defensive Voidray, an aggressive Voidray, a mid-game Voidray. Oracle's gonna scout here, sees 2 barracks. Sees probably a new tank on the way. You see what happened here? This factory built a tech lab, then started flying to a new tech lab. So this factory lifted, then landed, and the barracks from here landed on this. I'm pretty sure he could have just left the factory on this tech lab, and it would have been the exact same thing if you just fly the barracks to this tech lab. But, oh well. I'm not a Terran player, so what do I know? This Voidray is going to barely just miss the Raven. Raven flies in and is going to get at least a kill, I think. Kill or 2 maybe even here on the probes. At the same time, Voidray is going to most likely clear this Raven, as the speed here is good enough. We have the, what you call it, the lock-in there. Oh, actually, Raven's going to... Oh, it's gonna get out of here. Single kill on a probe and manages to escape, so that's a big deal. Might be capable of coming back later on. Also gets the full scout here. Percival's following this up with a kind of a 3-rex play. Do we have an eBay with it? No, we don't quite yet. It's going to be a non-eBay 3-rex tank push, maybe? It's getting a second medevac right now with a starport that doesn't have an add-on. Forged Twilight, as well as a third Voidray here. The triple Voidray opener. There used to be a build that Zaun played back in the day, a long, long time ago. When he first hit the scene, he would go for triple Voidray, Twilight Council, and Adept Glaive Adept. And with the Voidrays, he would right-click the depot, so it would die, and then he would shade in with the Adepts. That was his entire game plan. That's not what we're seeing here out of SOS. SOS instead he's kind of playing a macro game, but it's a macro game that is pretty delayed due to these Voidrays being very expensive. So the gateways are going down right now. There's 6 in production. We have a full-on SCV pool coming out of Percival. That's going to be the triple Voidray here versus the SCV pool. So far, Percival is up by about 12 supply. Sees a Stasis Ward. Stasis Ward's going to get taken out. Double Siege up as well. Marine count is actually fairly low, and there's no combat shield either. 24 Marines are here. Stim can be activated. We have a hold position plus Guardian Shield. Voidray's dealing some damage. When is our first... Or actually, charge is so far away still. Holy crap. I was gonna wonder when our first warp in is gonna be here, but the real issue is gonna be charge. Full supply block as well at the same time. One more pylon goes down here too. And that means that despite having a lot of cash and a lot of production ready, I don't think SOS can actually build anything right now. Energy recharge is available, but there's no energy currently on the Nexus to cast it on the sentry. Okay, we have 5 open supply right now. A little bit more. New pylon finish up. Here comes 6 zealots. Charge has finished up as well. Still no combat shield. And here we go. Guardian shield is going to get activated, but I think with 3 tanks and this many Marines and SCVs to tank, I'm not quite sure how SOS is planning on holding over here. The Marines continue shooting. No upgrades, no combat. But it doesn't even matter, as this hit hard enough and it's going to be clearing SOS's army here in the first game. The triple Voidray opener, although creative, not very good. As Percival takes game number 1. Now, I only think creativity is worth something if it actually ends up working out. Like, I could make a painting with poop, but if it looks like shit and smells like crap, then no one's really going to want to buy it, right? You need to have some value in what you're doing. And although the triple Voidray seemed cute, he doesn't get the Raven early on. It significantly delays his gateways. And he doesn't seem to have any major secondary tech either. No Storm, no Colossus. There's no Splash, which makes dealing with SCV Pools very difficult. That is one of the main issues with non-Splash openers. This is why we're seeing a big shift out of Protoss players into more 4-gas focused playstyles. Faster tech on 2.5 bases, so that you're safe. That you're safe against the SCV Pool. That is one of the most important things currently in PvT, is that you're safe against SCV Pools, because charge lots just don't do well with SCVs. You know, SCVs can hold position, they can bug them out, they tank a lot of zealot hits, and it just makes it so hard. You need to have a very good early game as a Protoss player in order to deal appropriately with SCV Pools. And that's something that we're seeing back again. And again, once more, we're gonna go for a Stargate here. We're gonna go for a Stargate. That in and by itself is interesting. So it kind of comes back to the same reason. If you're playing like builds with a Phoenix or an Oracle that go into charge, SCV Pools are difficult to deal with. If you're going Phoenix into Colossus, both the Phoenix and the Colossus have the same counter, and that is the Viking. The Viking kills both of them, honestly, quite easily. So the thing that Terran can do, and that something that they have been doing, is they'll swap the starport onto a reactor and they start pumping Vikings. Buff, buff, buff. And once they have 6 Vikings and they have tanks, there's really nothing that the Protoss army can build that fights well against tank Viking. As long as you don't have charge, you're not going to be capable of beating them, because you're investing so much in Colossus and Phoenix tech, it's going to be hard. So I am so curious what SOS is going to do. Maybe he really believes in this setup. Like, that is allowed. That is okay, you know? I'm not going to scold him for that. I'm not going to say, oh no, why would you believe in Voidray? That's so dumb, because I haven't seen this in practice. I haven't been playing this. SOS probably has, because, well, he loves it apparently. He loves the Voidray builds. It is just not something that I'm at all familiar with. So it is possible that in the last game something went wrong for SOS that I didn't notice, because I don't understand what going and doing the right thing looks like at all. Like, I just don't know what it's like. I need to see more games of Voidray. I need to play it myself in order to understand what are my win conditions. Like, when do I lose? SOS has a way better grasp of that than I do. So I'm going to keep an open mind to this. He's getting a very fast third base with it, which I'm generally a big fan of. They're seeing a third gas at a decent timing as well. First Void is out. Second Void is just going to start. So Oracle into Void, into Phoenix. Okay, so this is slightly different. It is still that initial Voidray. We get the Twilight Council, we get the Force. This is pretty much the exact same thing. And I respect SOS a lot as a player. And that means that most likely what SOS is doing here is he analyzed the previous game and said, hey, I made mistake X or I made mistake Y in the previous game. And now I can fix this. I can fix this mistake and make sure that the same thing doesn't happen to me. Because if you're playing against a Terran player that is prone to SCV pooling, which Percival is, and you lose to an SCV pool like that, then you probably need to have a response ready. As Percival here, once again, he's going to hit faster actually. He's going to hit much, much quicker this time around. Look at that. Not even an add-on here on this barracks. He's just going to go naked Marine production on this barracks. There's going to be producing 4 Marines at the same time. We're going to have a second tank popping out here as well. Ooh, here comes the Phoenix Plus Oracle setup, and that's going to be -1. We have another Voidray coming in behind this, so it's going to go up to 2 Voidrays. Charge won't be done. This is hitting so freaking quick. This is a really cool build, by the way. I love this build. Absolutely adore it. Yes, I do, my dear friends. 18 Marines, 1 tank, 1 Cyclone. Second tank is on the way. SCV's being pooled as well. As the stage is going to get popped here, this seems just god-awful for SOS. I don't understand how he's going to hold this. This feels to me like pretty much a default loss. Good control so far on the Voidray, so look at that. This is really cute. Gets 2 Marines, get 3 Marines. He wants to force out a stim and say, hey, commit into me. You don't have that much healing. Voidray control here has been great. It actually has been. Now, SCVs are being pulled off the line. I think what SOS can do here is probably give up this third base, because there's not a whole lot of mining going on right now for Percival, and then say, hey, I have an extra base, I have a bit more mining. I have a stasis ward over here as well, which is actually a pretty big deal. Voidray now takes some serious damage. Cyclone's gonna get taken out. Here comes the stim in forward. That is stim number 1. Pylon's gonna fall. Another supply block here for SOS. Similar as in the first game. He's adding in a couple more of these. Ooh, that is big. That is huge. That is a lot of the Marines. That is all of the Marines here that have been caught. So maybe that is the grand plan. Like, I hope you walk all of your Marines into my 1 stasis that I have. And so far, that plan is working. Not sure how consistent this is in the execution, but you know, if you win a game, you win a game. What can I say? Still, of course, have these guys around. Armor has now completed, and here come the Zealots with the armor. No upgrades once again on these Marines. Lovely build order out of Percival, but yeah, if 16 Marines stim and then walk into a stasis ward, that is usually not going to provide you with great outcomes in the fight. Get the double pickup, or get the tank pickup here. Voidray still moving across the map. Combat shield going down. eBay going down as well. 47 workers to 35 as 16 SCVs have died in that pool. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Templar Archives now comes down as well. If I am Percival and I'm seeing this, I'm like, okay, next game I'm doing the exact same thing. If I see a freaking Voidray or a Stargate, like, I am pulling SCVs again, because this felt like it should have been a win. You know, like, this felt like it should have been a win. This never should have been an L for Percival. Like, he had so much damage stuck in that stasis. And that is not a consistent approach to dealing with this push. It is an approach that worked once. It might work a second time, but it should not be consistent, because stasis wards can be spotted by paying close attention on the map. It's not what happened here, though. Double drop now being sent out. Percival's also getting a third base and adds in a couple of mines. Combat shield is, what is that? About 90% done or so. Yeah, 70 out of 80 seconds. Yeah, 85% done, whatever it is. Third base is now finished up here for SOS, who is in a good position, but not an unlosable spot. There's always a difference, you know, between being in a good spot and a great spot. These two, I mean, they shouldn't finish. Like, they shouldn't commit here. 4 Voidrays are gonna move. That is a wild thing to do, no? He's gonna start shooting these Marines. Might actually lose a Void. No, he won't. Does he have boost available? Yeah, he does. Oh! Dude, the prismatic alignment on Voidrays, it hits so freaking hard. It is so quick. Double Adept now showing up at the third base. Sees the lack of a base. He's not gonna commit here. Do we have the next boost available soon? I think he's gonna need it. At the same time, we have a double mine drop heading in towards the natural. Can he hit something? No, he can't. We're going to get a burrow, unburrow, burrow, unburrow. Maybe kill these zealots. And then pick up the mines. No, it's not going to pick up the mines. Just going to leave. Do we have blink? No, we don't. I really wonder what the plan here is for SOS. Does he have storm, actually? No, he doesn't. Oh, he's just, oh my god. He's just freaking shoving it across the map, huh? That is so cool. SOS is just such a cool player. He says, hey, buddy. I could probably get Storm out, but I could also hit 5 seconds before your ghost pop. How about that, huh? How about that? And here he goes. Neither of these mines or the tanks are burrowed inside, and all of them will die before getting any damage in. These mines are gonna hit big time. Look at the splash there. Zealots falling into the orange, but I don't really think SOS gives a crap here. He has a bunch of Voidrays out. He has a bunch of units. EP is actually gonna connect big time. 1,400 minerals in the bank, so he can easily build a fort base right now. Kills another 11 SCVs. Only has 53 workers himself. This is SOS as I know him. Low eco, scrappy, doing weird stuff. Going to hit 1 force field as well as a guardian shield. Double Archons in the back. 4 void rays here as well. 1 mine is gonna get cleared. Can these zealots moving forward? Oh, mine is gonna splash quite a bit there. We have a 12 supply lead right now for SOS. Third CC is gonna fly over. Robo Bay about halfway done. Oh, that's some big damage here. That is some big damage. These mines are just pulling back. Fourth Nexus is about 60% done as well. I mean, this looks kind of scary, actually, if you're SOS. Look at this. These Void Rays are about to fall right now. Zealot Warping coming in yeah, pretty clean. Mines once again gonna burrow. Dude, despite the absolutely god-awful early push of Percival, this game feels so close. Look at that. Voidray still being taken out over here. Yes, double Colossi are on the way, and now that this third has fallen, it probably is over, but the worker count for SOS behind it was awful. He hasn't been producing workers at all. That's fine, but it does put a lot of pressure on you to pretty much win the game outright. And without the kill there on the orbital, and you don't kill those 9 extra SCVs, I'm not saying that Percival is winning, but he has an okay chance. He really does have an okay chance, just because the eco is so bad. Colossus are a game changer, because you're going to need Vikings against them. So just having like simple Marine Marauder, Mine, Ghost isn't going to work. You're going to need some Vikings in order to deal with that threat. And I'm not sure how many Vikings Percival could have gotten out. But I think it's a pretty moot point in this case anyway, just because he just lost the third base, right? And his eco sucks. So it's a useless what if, but it's an interesting what if. An interesting one for sure. Okay, Percival's got to move in forward. Kind of wants to hit before Thermal lands. Ideally wants to hit before Colossus 3 and 4 are out. We're going to have some force field at least. We have decent vision at least here on the left side. So really all you need to do is just hold this ramp. It's not going to hold the ramp. Guardian Shield doesn't get activated either. Do we have energy recharge? No, we don't. Okay, mines are being swiped away at by these Colossus. Thermal lens is finishing right now. Another Zealot Warping comes in. I mean, this is going to be just fine here. SCV's falling at a high pace. Colossus 3 and 4 pop out as well. And that is going to be it here in game number 2. We'll be going in favor of SOS. Percival had a very good build. Had a build that probably was winning, but the stasis saved SOS. I really wonder what the analysis of SOS is after a game like that, though. Like, game number 1, you could say, hey, you know what? I wasn't entirely ready for it mentally, and I died. But game 2, he was as mentally ready as possible. He changed his build a little bit, had faster gateways, and he still got slaughtered at his third base until that stasis hit. So I'm just really curious what the analysis is in this type of situation, because I don't know. I don't know how he looks at this. He's like, hey, time for more Void Rays? Or maybe like a different... This is also the beauty of being SOS, is you could open up with a fast Stargate and show the Oracle, and you know Percival is gonna pull SCVs into you, right? That is something you can play with right now. Because the only info Percival has gotten so far is that you're building an Oracle. So you build an Oracle, and you kind of bait out that SCV pool. Man, that stuff is fantastic. That stuff is absolutely fantastic. You got like single Oracle, maybe one Void Ray even, straight into Twilight Council, and you just go 6-gate charge without any forge, and that is how you hold. It is a possibility. You can also play Oracle into Void Ray into Colossus. If they're going for a fast SCV pool without Vikings, like Percival has been doing, that is completely fair. That is completely fair. Let's take a look at this. Instant Tech Lab. Ooh, Reactor. Okay, it is actually Percival that's changing it up. He's not going to go for the fast Cyclone. We're going to be seeing something else. Once more, it's going to be Stargate. Look at that. No Warp Gate research over here. Not in this house, brother. Not in this house, indeed. Oi, 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 oi. Stargate comes out. See, Percival here is going for like some anti-timing. So you go in at maybe 227, hoping that the Adept has already shaded out. He's waiting a little longer, waiting a little longer. Now he's going. For whatever reason, SOS's Adept actually was quite late. So the anti-timing doesn't quite work out. I think SOS might have messed up his core timing or his first Adept timing. Felt a little bit weird at least. Because it's supposed to finish at 220 and then you maybe instantly start the shade. Like once you're here, you walk down here just for checking and then you finish the shade towards the middle. So then at like 230, 232, definitely the Adept should be out there, but didn't work out quite like that. So just a cute little move out of Percival, but SOS, he's like, yeah, whatever. I just have a 2-second late Adept for no reason. Good luck against that, brother. Love to see it. Oracle first once more. We're going to get a Mine Marine drop. High ground CC. Reaper's going to move over to the healing zone on the left side. This is scary for the Terran, by the way. It is also scary for the Protoss. So if the Protoss flies into a mine with the Oracle, boom, game over. If the Protoss gets in though and there's nothing there defensively, boom, perhaps game over from the Terran side of things. Oh god. Never mind, this is gonna be scary. This is gonna be scary. It's gonna be real scary. Oh, actually for the Terran. I thought it was gonna be scary for the toss, but he's actually moving out just as the Oracle comes in. It's going to be what? 16 seconds here. Oh, he's not gonna commit. Just uses it for a revelation, really. Gets the Voidray. Difference here is that we get a third gas before a Nexus. So a very different type of game already. Oracle is trying to track this thing. Let's see how he's going to respond to this. Ooh, he can clear that now. He can clear that. Voidray comes in. Boost has been used already. This is dead, isn't it? Oh no. Oh no. How unfortunate here. As the Reaper, is it gonna die too? No, it's just barely. No, it's gonna die to the Oracle. Good lord, what an awful start here. What an awful start for Percival. Losing the medevac plus the mine, plus all the Marines, dealing no damage whatsoever. That's as bad as it comes. And look at the different approach here. Pretty much what I said. He's gonna go for a Twilight before third base. He's still gonna add in more Void Rays, but the Twilight before third base is the game changer, I think. That is really the main, it's the key ingredient here that SOS seems to be adding into the mix. Absolute key ingredient. Although this time Percival's playing a different build as well. He's adding in an E-base, so it's going to be a later push, probably with Stim and Combat Shield. A very different type of push. SOS is moving to the middle of the map here. Oh, Cyclone is out. And he's only using this Oracle for scouting. It is just too scary for Protoss right now to use that Oracle for anything else. The possibility of Cyclones being around. You know, it's always there, boys. It's always there. You can never, ever discount the Cyclone. It has such good range. You can just... Oh, look at that. That Oracle's dead, isn't it? Up, there you go. That's why I said never discount the Cyclone. Templar Archives coming down here as well. I kind of like this. The Storm. So rather than having Phoenix, you go Voidray into Storm. It is an interesting approach here to things. I've seen Phoenix into Storm before, but I haven't quite seen Voidray into Storm. So I love that approach here. I really am a big fan of that. I really am a big fan of that. So Oracle into Voidray into Storm. Plus charge. Oh, he's going to play Archon actually. It's not going to be Storm, is it? Archons are scary to have against SCV. So I always see the Archon as like, they have fake splash, right? We all know the Archon has splash, but this is not an SCV and Marine killer like the Colossus or Storm is. Like, if you're an SCV and you see an Archon, you're probably not going to be happy. But you're going to be happy as a Marine. It's like, okay, the SCVs will die, but by the time he's going to chew through the SCVs, I'll probably will have killed majority of the Zealots, and the Archon will have taken a bit of damage as well. With Storm, if you're a Marine, it doesn't matter how many SCVs there are in front of you, that Storm is going to hit your face, okay? You're dead. Boom. Bang, bang. You're dead. And there's nothing you can really do about that. So, ooh, is he gonna base trade? I've seen this out of SOS before. But he's not gonna he's gonna fight in the middle of the map. He's not gonna allow him to finish the combat shield and mentally set up. Here we go. It's going to be a little fight here. Can we get some force fields in? Oh, this is a good fight as well for SOS. Dude, he's owning. He is freaking owning. Double Void Rays. Prismatic align. Oi, oi, oi. Look at these prismatically aligned Void Rays over here. Just blasting through the tanks. That's it. Percival's freaking dead. No concussive shell. His combat shield finished midway through that battle. Do we have anything defensively? We have a cannon. We still have a Templar Archive as well. Liberator tank now being set up. Oh, dude. Percival's going to be hating himself for that game number 2 and how that went. He had that game by the balls, let me tell you. Had it by the balls. And then he let the balls go when he walked into that stasis. And now he's in a world of trouble. He lost the tanks. He's going to go for the counter drop. Do we have any warpins available? It doesn't matter because SOS is charging in and he's taking charge. And he says, hey, mate, it's time for you to leave the game in my mind. And it's also time for Percival to leave the game in my mind. GG gets called. SOS wins this series with a 2-1 score with a wild Void Ray opener style.